Hi, my name is Nate and I'm the Otter Outdoorsman. I'm going to be doing a small series a little bit over time in regards to my favorite style of fire making. Flint and steel, or is what we normally call flint and steel. Now, this is my favorite type of fire for a few different reasons. For one, you can pretty much renew your ignition source pretty much off the land, and all you really need is a hard rock and a piece of high carbon steel. Now I'm going to kind of start off this series talking about strikers. I've kind of started to collect strikers. I kind of like having them, and this is a small collection of my strikers that I have. This is part of it, at least. I had a couple strikers I couldn't find, and it's kind of a good representation of different types of strikers you can have on you. Now, for one, the classic, and it's kind of my favorite, the Searing striker. Remember, all strikers are made out of a high carbon steel, and they have to be made out of a high carbon steel that is pretty much tempered to spark whenever you strike them with a hard rock. And what we'll do is pretty much the Searing style is my favorite. It's a pretty classic style, and the reason why it's called C is because, well, it's shaped like a C. The reason I like it is you can hold it from either direction, and you can hold it like this, and you have a good striking surface right here. It's also nice because it fits nicely in a tin. And there's a few other classic styles, which is so the U style, which is another useful one where you can hold it like this. And especially if you have a good rock. You can, it's kind of nice. You can do it like this. Generally, what a lot of people do with this one, though, I don't always use the U style. I'm not a big fan of it personally, but what a lot of people do is they will have it drop down and they will strike on it, strike down. I haven't mastered that style. I prefer a different style, but we'll get into that in a different time. Here's one from Emberlit, which is kind of a representative of a rat tail tang one, where it has the front flat style, a short nubby back, and you pretty much hold it like this, and you strike it similar to you'd strike similar what you'd use a C style one. Some people like this because you're not as tempted to grab it like a lot of people grab the C-ring one like this, which can lead to injury if you're not careful. But some people like this because it stops you from doing that. Also, on top of it, you pretty much get a decent grip on it. I have I have two here, one from Justin Wolf, the Wolf Customs flashing point, which was something I talked to him about previously. I haven't made a video on this yet. I just haven't had I started to make one, but I was having some technical difficulties at the time, so I haven't gotten back around to trying to shoot this. The other one is the one that originally, when I was discussing with him about something like this, was the Emberlit arrowhead, which wouldn't make an ideal lashing point like this one would, which this one has more multifunctional. This one's a little bit safer towards wearing it as a necklace, which is something I kind of like as an idea, is having this as a wearable striker. Now, these aren't really classic styles at all. These are more just modern ones. I kind of like them. But there's a lot of other kinds of strikers you can have. Some people like to kind of have something similar to this, where it's kind of just, it's a point like this where people will make it off of a file. I haven't done that yet because I don't have the time or the skill to do that. There's a bunch of different styles actually. Emberlit has a lot of different styles, and I've been meaning to play around with it. Actually, out of the two I've had so far, when I was kind of striking these, I kind of like this one that's kind of based off of a horse, where it was striking really beautiful sparks. But those don't always catch up on camera that well. But just kind of an overview of strikers. Some other things you can use as strikers is, as I said, an old file. If you've processed them down, you can make into one like this. Pretty much any high carbon steel that's been tempered properly can be turned into a striker. Often in our community, there's a lot of people that will go off with a high carbon steel knife. Those also can be done, but it does chew up the spine of your knife, and which is why I don't personally do it. And your knife, again, has to be high carbon steel, it has to be with the right tempering and metal. You really can't do this with stainless. Stainless doesn't have the carbon thing to it. I've also seen people use axes, similarly to the way that they would use them, but they don't always get the proper sparking off of it. But these are just some of the strikers that I like to use. This is my favorite so far. I keep this in my pack. This is one I got from, well, they're not really so much in business anymore, the Deer Creek Wilderness Outfitters. There's now Deer Creek Forge. I don't know if he still does strikers anymore, but back when he was Wilderness Outfitters, he was selling these, and it's pretty much became my favorite. So this one's always in my fire kit. I'm going to be messing around with other ones in the future because, as I said, it's my favorite. I like to collect them. These ones are from Emberlit. I haven't had a good chance to take them out. I recently obtained these. I will say they have amazing customer service. And I really do recommend them for their customer service. Then I have this one, and I have another one I got from Wilderness Outfitters a while back when I kind of started. This was my first personal striker I've ever had, and then I have another one, which is another Searing one, which I can't find at the moment. Then, as I said, this one's from Wolf Customs, and I mean, you can pretty much find them all over. There's a few different stores I've seen. I've been meaning to buy strikers from, the different styles of, from various places, like I think like Turkey Foot something. I'd have to look them up again. But if you're looking for strikers, look around. I'll see if I'll include some links as to where you can find some. But I highly recommend learning flint and steel fires. It's personally relaxing. And as I said, it's kind of become a collection of mine. It's a small collection at the moment, but it will grow over time as I find the other ones I want to use. So my name is Nate. I'm the Otter Outdoorsman. These are some strikers you can use to start flint and steel fire. And I'll see you next time.